Hey, you're listening to the Smoke Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Today's podcast is brought to you by Joe's Underground in Augusta, Georgia, at the corner of 8th and Broad in the bottom of the Lamar building. Right now, Joe's is doing the responsible thing, and they're shut down due to the pandemic. But I guarantee they will be back, and when they come back, they will be strong, and all the good times will roll. So make sure you go down and see Jeremy and all the gang down there at Joe's. Right now, they are selling T-shirts on their Facebook page. Go to Joe's Underground and check them out. Grab you some cool swag and help support them while they're out. And everybody just pull together. Remember, I goes to Joe's, and when they're open again, I'm going back. So, without further ado, here's the podcast for today on smoked meat. Hey everybody, you're listening to the Smoke Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Today I've got actor Dale Niehaus with me today. We're going to have a lot of fun. Just going to talk a little bit about what he's got going on, what he's done, and life in general. So without further ado, how are you, Dale?
I'm doing fine, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be twins. I'd be big old ugly twins, but I'd be twins. Yeah, so tell my audience a little bit about yourself, man. They're curious to know.
Okay. Let's see. I am 39 years old. Originally born and raised in southern Indiana. Moved out here in Oklahoma in 2015. Didn't really find my niche and love and passion for acting until 2015. So yeah, I was about 34, and then kind of from there just was in a play, and then that was 2016 when the play actually happened, and then kind of from there just started being in some films, and just kind of the rest is history. So just kind of been gung ho ever since with doing that. So just kind of found it later in life.
Outstanding. Yeah, it's funny, how people, just go forever and not think about something, all of a sudden just turn over a new leaf and boom, start a whole new chapter.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's got to be a little bit tough because, as an older gentleman myself, um, people look at you a little bit differently. I feel like, if I want to start acting, I'm going to be singled out for certain kind of roles, which I'm fine with that.
hmm
But I know I will never be the leading man because I do not come close to looking like Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt. I just sound like Brad Pitt with the man on the end. But I know I would probably be a good character actor because I've just got that look. I
Oh hey,
make
and
I make M.
yeah,
Emmett Walsh look like Brad Pitt.
there's nothing wrong with that. There's several people out there that may not have the look of a lead role like all the time, but they make really good character actors because they need people that are good character actors to even be like the best friend or the enemy of the lead. I mean, there's just all kinds of good stuff out there you can do even if you're not the lead character, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and the cool thing I've noticed as a character actor can get work when no one else can because
Yeah.
they may not have a role that's good for that lead, but there's always a place for the character guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I tell you, my favorite one that can actually do both is John Lithgow. The things I've
Yes.
seen him do, holy crap! He's gone from being the bad guy in Ricochet to being the transsexual ex-football player in Garp. You know, and did great in all of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm showing my age a little bit, throwing some Garp out there. I know.
That's all right. I remember Ricochet too, man. I love that movie. That was a good movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But what's your favorite kind of roles to play?
Oh Lord.
Paying ones?
Well, what's that?
The paying ones, right?
Paying ones are always good.
Yes.
Those are always good. But I mean, I pretty much like playing all kinds. But I found since I've done both, just like a regular like dad next door, or just like a boyfriend, whatever. Those are okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones I have the most fun with are either like the really bad guys or just kind of like the, just like a bad guy type of role, or a kind of a sarcastic one, just one that you get to play out of your element, and just because it's just neat to be able to play kind of a role that that's not who you normally are, because it's just kind of cool to be able to play that, because normally I'm just like the most easygoing, nice guy you'd ever meet, and then I get to play somebody that's like a complete, a-hole. It's kind of a cool turnaround for you.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like it would be so awesome to play a bad guy because I feel like I would play that almost over the top because, like I say, it's not something that you are. It's just you get to go out there and do it, and that would be
Yeah,
so cool. I think.
yeah, it is. It is. Playing a bad guy it's a load of fun because sometimes it could be difficult because especially if you got let's say if you're playing a bad guy who's a racist,
Hmm.
having to go out there if because I hate racial slurs and all that, and
Hmm.
but if there's a line in a film or whatever that your character has to say, that it takes some mental preparation to do that, and then afterwards it takes you a little bit to kind of get over being upset at yourself. But I mean, it still is a different aspect and a role to play, just because in that particular atmosphere, your character is supposed to do that, and so it's kind of a different feeling. But even not roles like that, but just like even like playing I don't know, a role that um, let's say you're somebody that's talking about beating somebody up or killing somebody, and it's definitely really cool to be able to play something like that. It's a whole lot of fun to play around with that, actually.
Yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about the slurs and everything. Right now, I'm
Yeah.
recording an audiobook for a friend of mine that it's got a couple of them in it. That are part of the story. And I went to him. I said, "Hey, man, feels a little bit weird saying this. I don't want to get in trouble. And not that I'm a saint. When I was young, I grew up in the South. Not saying everybody in the South did. Used the words a lot when I was a kid. Stupid people
Oh
I hung
yeah.
around with, But I've seen the
Of
blood
course.
of everybody now, and it's all red."
Yeah.
And he looked at me and just started laughing. I said, "Really, man?" He's like, "Look, it's part of the book. I know it's not you." I said, "It's in the book. You got to say it." I'm like, "Okay, I just wanting to make sure
Oh
I got
yeah.
you blessed." And he's like, "Yeah, I wrote it." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And that made it a little bit easier, but it was just so weird.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It is. It is. Like you said, but yeah, like you were saying, it's part of the story. It was part of the book, and so like if there's a story that, what was that? What was that one that was based off true story where it was where the South was talking about integration and all that? I cannot remember that, but it was fantastic actors in that one.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that was that storyline. I mean, there was a lot of racial slurs in there, but it was necessary to tell a story. So yeah, it's one of those where most people in general know that that's not how you are. I mean, you still have people that, well, like if you're playing a character that's an abusive father or a murderer or whatever, there are some people out there that get confused with reality and fantasy, and you're going to have that. But most people know that if you're playing a role in a TV show or a movie or even an audiobook, that the person doing that is not how they really are,
Yeah,
or at least they, assume. Because I mean, I'm sure there are people that have done roles like that may be like that in real life. You never know, but the majority of people understand, hey, this is a fictional character. They're playing this particular role. That's not how they are, but you're going to have occasionally people that have trouble discerning the difference on that.
yeah. Look at Edward Norton and Ethan Suplee and all of them in American History X. It's
Yes.
like,
Oh my
holy
gosh.
crap! When I first saw that movie, I'm like, damn. And it's one of my favorite movies. One, because of the message it just gives out. It's a good redemption story. But I was like, holy
Yep.
crap! How did he do this?
Oh, yeah. When I saw that, it just was like, oh my lord. I don't
Yeah,
know how. But yeah, he did a phenomenal job playing in that movie, going from being um, playing the role that he did, and then transforming at the end to a completely different person. And it was an amazing story, just like I said, showing transformation and change of one person's views when they experience things and meet other people and realize, wow, my world really wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah, yeah, and it was just neat watching him go from, playing small parts and just background and things in different movies to just where he came into his own the last several years. And he's
Oh,
the big name
yeah,
now.
yeah, exactly. It is amazing because I don't think when he had done American History X, I know he had done some smaller stuff before then,
Yeah,
and that was, yeah, I hate to say that was one of the first films I think I saw him in.
mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know a whole lot about Edward Norton before then. But I mean, and then I started to watch some of the stuff, even that it came out before then. But it seems like, from that point forward, um, he just started just to take off, and it's just amazing now to look at where he was then to where he is now, and it's mind blowing.
Yeah, yeah, and the neat thing is, he makes you understand that could be any one of us.
Yeah, it really, really could. It's like I was telling somebody the other day because there was somebody that was it wasn't a friend of mine, but it was somebody who was talking online that was saying somebody that like if you've been acting for a while and you've gotten to a certain level, don't do background work anymore, because you're better than that, blah blah blah. And I was just thinking, I was like, no, that's not true because it doesn't matter what level of acting you get to. You could be Tom Hanks, you could be whatever. Um, you're still a person, and you're not better than anybody else. And honestly, I've done some speaking roles on different various things, and if there's no bigger projects going on at the time, but then if there's a film that's needing some background help, whatever, that doesn't get necessarily seen on camera, then I'm like, well, it pays a little bit, but it gets me back on set to get those acting muscles going again, and I get to maybe meet some other actors that I haven't met or some crew that I haven't got to work with, and they could end up being the next Tarantino crew or the next crew that works for Spielberg. You don't know this, and so you have to keep an open mind and be humble because you never know if there's a caterer on set that could end up being like the next James Cameron writing a script or something. You don't know in this world who somebody is at one day, and then next day they can be the next biggest hit. You just never know.
Yeah, yeah. And I've the only things I've been in a couple of movies doing background, but the first one I ever did was Fled. Remember that one?
What was it?
Fled with Lawrence Fishburne and Stephen Baldwin. It it
Yes.
it was a great movie, but the mistake that was made was it opened on the same weekend as Independence Day.
Yeah.
But we were the standby ambulances on that set, and just by chance they said we need a paramedic on the screen. Like, okay, well I'll
Wow.
go, and I got to zip up a body bag. I was close up with that, and then I'm in the background,
Wow.
of course, talking to somebody. But that was
Yeah.
such a neat experience because of the people. Like I say, I got to meet. I met people who did everything on the movie. And
Yeah.
and I joke around, but it's true. Lawrence Fishburne probably still owes me a pack of cigarettes because he couldn't carry them in the pocket of his prison jumpsuit. And of course, I smoked like a chimney, and he'd walk up, "Hey man, let me get a square," and I'd hook him up. And it was just a neat experience. I got to meet so many neat people on that.
That is really, really awesome. Speaking of experiences, I was background on the set of Awake,
Mm-hmm.
and and then the lead in that was John Ryers Davis, who was in the Vikings TV series, and
Yeah.
I went out that day, and of course, background, you never know exactly. I mean, you kind of have a general idea from the casting call, but you never really have an idea of exactly what's going to happen. So I went out there, and I was just going to be in a street scene, and they mentioned some other stuff. Well, I was a background in 3 different scenes, so it was from like we got there at like 10 a.m. and we didn't leave until like after 10 p.m. that night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the one of the other scenes I was in, they were going to have him walk alongside of a building and duck around the corner of one of these entrances to avoid something or whatever. And so they were doing it, and then they were like, "Yeah, hold on." And so then they had me. They're like, "Hey, go around that corner, and about 10 seconds after he walks out, or 10 paces, then follow him." So I was hiding around the corner with John, and they had to do like 6 or 7 different takes. So the whole time, me and him were just around the corner, and we shook hands, we were talking. He was telling me about his life when he lived in Ireland and then moved over to the States, and Stanley, and just overall a nice guy. And it honestly, I wouldn't have got to meet him or talk to him had I not gone and been a background that day. So it's amazing who, kind of like when you went some smokes to Lawrence Fishburne. I mean, you never know who you're going to encounter, and just kind of the conversations you can strike up.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool because everybody thinks, okay, they've been in movies, they're unapproachable, and
Yeah,
it's amazing. They're people. It's just normal people that doing what they do. And
exactly. And that's people sometimes in a good and bad way will they'll have this all about movie stars and whatever, and they think they're like these like goddesses or gods, and it's like, no, they're regular people. And I know that there are some out there that love the attention, that love to be treated that way, but a majority of them out there, they just want to be treated like regular people. Like when they go shopping or go hang out with their families, these people just are treating them like they're so different, or they're not allowing to kind of be a regular person. And that's just all they are. They're regular people that are doing a job, something that they love to do. And they just that's just how they are. And so I when I first started the business, I was very starstruck at times with different actors and actresses, and occasionally I'll catch myself still getting that way. But overall, nowadays, if I'm on a set with a big name actor and actress, you got some people starting out new that they're all like, I want to go get a selfie, all that. And then a lot of times, I'm just like, you know, it's not as big of a deal to me too, because I realize after doing so much that they're there to do a job, and they may, they may just be wanting to get that done and may not necessarily want to be hounded or whatever, but they also don't necessarily want to be treated any different. They may just want to be treated like, hey, I'm one of the guys or girls or whatever. So but yeah, they're just regular people.
yeah, yeah, and I enjoyed, like I said, I met so many neat people there, and it
Yeah,
was strange sitting in the middle of the field because they had a big tent for the crew to sit in and eat, and they actually let us eat over with the cast because we were the ambulance on scene, and it was
nice.
so weird sitting in the middle of a field with, I got, Will Patton sitting over here eating a ribeye. I'm sitting here eating giant shrimp that I've never even seen shrimp that big before. You got Kevin Hooks and everybody just all around you eating, and it's like, man, I'm really sitting here with the cool kids. And I was young and just so in awe of most of these people. I was just big time starstruck, and it was so neat.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's just, I mean, people that don't have never worked in the industry don't truly realize that you get to meet, it's not always, but you do get to meet some really cool people that otherwise you wouldn't be able to. So that's one thing I really do love about the industry, because of just actors and crew that normally on an everyday situation, unless you just ran into them on a store when they were shopping for something, you really don't get to meet them like you do in this industry, and that is really cool.
Yeah, I'm here just south of Atlanta where I live. We've got we got a big studio here, and for some reason Pinewood. I don't know why I couldn't think of Pinewood, but they've got their studio cafes actually open to the public, and you can go in there and
Wow.
they've got the best breakfast in the world there. Oh man, it's great.
Wow.
But you can go in there and you're sitting and looking around at these people, and it's like, that's a director. I've seen that guy somewhere before, and I'm sure a lot of the like big faces, they just have it brought over to them or whatever. But you may be sitting there with Tarantino or whoever, you just don't pay attention. You're in there eating, and that's what they're doing, and just having a good time. And
Yeah, it's funny how small world like that just you just all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, Tarantino, or hey, it's that one guy from that one show. You never know.
yeah, you see so many faces that you know them, but you can't place them, and you don't want to just walk up while they're eating and go, "What did I see you in?" or "What did you do?" Because you're not going to interrupt their meal. I mean, that's just rude.
Right, of course.
But like I say, I've only been in those two movies. One of them small. I was background in one called The Mark. I was,
Hmm.
of course, again another paramedic. And here lately, I've always done stand up, but I've been wanting to get into acting a lot more here lately. And I've started doing little videos on YouTube, just characters that I'm making up. And those are getting a nice little following. I'm having fun with them. Everything I do is one take and improv, but it turns
Yeah,
out
that's
good.
great. That's good.
And that's how I actually got the script for the pilot that I read for. That was a friend of mine that is in the business saw it and said, "Hey, you need to do this."
Hey, that's even better.
So hopefully I'll get that once all this is over. And if I ever direct, I'm gonna just call myself Quentin Quarantino.
Yeah, I like that. I like that play of words. I love that. That's good.
Yep.
Quentin Quarantino. I love it.
Yep. And Mr. Tarantino, if you're out there listening and would like to come on the show, you're more than welcome to. We will discuss the name. But,
I love it. I love it.
but no, it's I'm just having a good time doing it. I know I will probably never be totally discovered and be rich and huge and famous and all that. But if I can make people laugh or just make somebody's day a little bit brighter, it works for me.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier, you never know. As we were talking earlier before we started the podcast, you never know who, like, you may see you on YouTube. You never truly know who's out there watching this stuff, and so it could happen. I mean, but that's a good attitude to have, a good down to earth, because the thing about this industry, it's tough to break into. It really is, and there's a lot of people that I mean can go at it for decades that never truly make it 100%. And I think that's what you can definitely tell if you're really devoted to this, is because you will get so many rejections, or you will do something that never takes off. But the fact that you love what you do is the reason you keep going. And because if somebody's getting into this just to make money, their attitude from the beginning is definitely bad, because it can take you years, even sometimes a decade, before you get to that point. And so a lot of times starting off, you're driving places. You could be driving several hours, using your own gas money, having your own place, paying for your own place to stay, paying for your own food, doing a project that may not even pay anything, that's helping maybe it'll take off. And
Yeah.
there's sometimes where you film it and it's supposed to go to film festival, or possibly get picked up by something, and it could get canceled. Or you could submit for 100 auditions, and out of that maybe get one or two, and maybe get a role, or possibly not. And so the rejection numbers are amazing in this industry. But for those of us that truly love what we do, we keep going at it, and we network, we get our name out there, and then before we know it, we start getting those yeses and that. And so I think that definitely it's one of these industries that you have to love what you do to be able to take the abuse. It really is.
Yeah. Well, luckily I trained for this when I was young and single, because I was not a
Yeah.
successful single guy. I was the early 20s in the silk shirt decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember those and the linen pants? Oh yeah,
Oh.
I was one of those. So I could handle rejection with the best of them. Oh yeah, I
Hey,
had
see,
rejection
yeah.
skills.
Well, see, you were training for this, So I mean, you kind of had the upper hand on that. So then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that too.
Exactly, and I've figured out the universe isn't going to let me make a lot of money. They're going to let me make enough to be comfortable with, like I am now.
Yeah. Right.
Because me and a friend of mine, everybody sat around and made lottery lists.
Yeah.
Everybody has. Well, the universe saw what me and my friend did and said, no, they never need money. The first thing that either one of us has vowed to do after we pay our bills, of course, is go buy 2 excavators, the tractors with
Hmm.
the big long arms,
Yeah.
and sword fight with them. So we will never be rich. We've been blacklisted. Yeah, and that's the tame stuff. It starts getting really stupid after that.
Hey, that's pretty funny right there, man. I
Oh
think
yeah.
have I? Maybe I've seen that. I don't know because did that get posted online?
I'm not sure. I'm
I
not
could have
sure.
sworn I've seen. I could have sworn I've seen something, and it may have been somebody different, but I could have sworn I'd seen somebody that was fighting along with 2 excavators, and that I'd heard something that they had got they got fired or something. So that could have been very well you guys right there doing
Oh,
that
I
for all
know
I
what I'm
know.
going to do when I'm finished editing this. I'm looking that up. That's awesome. And if you want something to really look at online that'll kill some brain cells, but it's amazing,
Okay,
uh, look up tiller racing.
look up what
Tiller racing, like garden
tiller
tillers.
racing. Oh my God!
You will kill an entire afternoon watching this and not realize it. It is amazing.
Really?
Yes. The only
Oh
reason I
my
don't do
Lord!
it, I am too fat to run that fast.
Uh,
But they have got these things so souped up, and they'll get behind them and just run. And they've got big wheels
wow!
on the back. Oh, it is hilarious.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that now because that actually does sound pretty entertaining.
Oh, you will kill an afternoon before you actually realize you do. Set an alarm for like 30 minutes or something, because
Oh
you
wow!
will you
Really?
will lose it. It is that great.
Oh my God! Now I have to watch it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And these are my people.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh no. Oh no. But yeah, how are you dealing with this quarantine? Are you staying in like you're supposed to when you can?
Yeah, of course, my day job, which yeah, working actor, sometimes you still got to pay the bills with the regular work.
Yeah.
I my job is essential, so yeah, I still have to go to work. And so it's good because I'm not struggling with paychecks, but I mean, of course, it's I'm still got to go to work, which I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to have a little mini vacation, but I mean, at least I'm not stuck inside going stir crazy from not being able to do anything. So I mean, it does have its benefits at least.
Yeah, I've been off all week because I had taken vacation before this. We were actually supposed to go to Gatlinburg last week, and this
Oh
hit.
wow.
And I said, well, just keep the vacation days on there. And been at home, and I've recorded so much this week, it's been ridiculous. But I actually go back to work tonight and get back elbow deep in this pandemic.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's right. Yeah, you'll be going to work tonight and be having a long shift, won't you?
yeah, I go 7 to 7 every night. Well, not every night, but on my shift, I go 7 to 7.
Ooh, yeah.
And
Well, hopefully it won't be too crazy for you tonight.
yeah, and my best advice to anybody out there that is quarantined,
Yeah.
with people, just step back and take a deep breath. If you start getting aggravated, whatever, just walk away for a few minutes because we have seen so many domestics, a lot of
Oh
alcohol
wow.
stuff, a lot of assaults, and
Wow.
yeah, I mean it's people are you talk about cabin fever, it's a real thing, man. Uh,
Oh
it's
wow. Yeah,
rough.
I can imagine. Well, especially if you're cooped up with somebody inside the same place and y'all are kind of already bickering along, and then you start including booze and alcohol. Well, that definitely fuels the fire. So yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's better to go to a different room. Even if you've been there 500 times in a week, it's still better than causing a domestic dispute for sure.
Yeah, I've kind of relegated myself to the basement for the last several weeks just because this is where my studio is. I got a man cave down here, and I brought an air mattress and all that good stuff, but
Nice.
I'm so high risk with my job, I don't want to get my wife and kids sick. I still go up and spend time with them some, but I limit it.
Well,
And
that's
that
good.
sucks, but at least it could be worse. I could be down here in an unfinished basement, nothing to do, and just be like that crazy uncle that I know I'll wind up being one day. But at least I've got carpet and sheetrock and my computer, all my sound stuff, my video stuff, and I'm like a kid from the '90s that got told to go to their room. I have all my toys here, so okay.
Oh my God, yes, yes. Oh my God, yeah. Which, I was born in '81, so I was about 10 or whatever, like in the early '90s. So
Mm.
yeah, my mom and dad were like, go to your room. I'm like, okay, because I had like Nintendo in there, I had TV, I had my toys, so it was like a kid in Candyland. And then eventually they were like, okay, we're taking your TV out of there. It was like my world just ended, without the Nintendo, but I still had my toys.
Oh
So
yeah.
I still would play imaginary GI Joes and He-Man and stuff. Somehow one would lose an arm or legs, but that was a whole interesting because I didn't have like but anyway, it was still fun. So yeah,
Heck yeah.
I would definitely hate to be a kid growing up nowadays that is glued to their electronics and then get sent to their room without being able to use their electronics, because I can imagine for them that's got to be
Oh yeah.
extremely torturesome.
Oh yeah. I've got two daughters, and they're pretty much grown now. One's 17 and one's 19, and
Yeah,
they when they were coming up, for a while we would okay, we're taking your phone or we're taking this, and then I saw a post on Facebook that actually worked. Don't take the phone away. Don't take the you know laptop or the tablet away. Take away the charger
yeah.
and
Oh,
just let them watch it slowly die.
that is pretty
That is
good.
that
Oh,
is
take away the
diabolical.
charger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dang.
That's cold
I'll have
blooded
to.
evil, but it works.
I'm gonna have to remember that with my kids. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a wonderful thing. I was born in '71, so when I got sent to my room, I mean, like I said, I had my toys and stuff, but our video game system, we had an Atari. Yeah, I'm old,
Yes,
and
Ataris are awesome. I love
it was
those.
hooked up in the living room on the big TV. And I remember when
Oh,
it started getting a little bit older, I got a 13-inch black and white. This thing weighed more than my car does.
yeah.
And I put that in my room, and I would play Atari on a 13-inch black and white TV and just know that I was the man. Because I had Atari in my
Heck
room.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, nowadays, I mean, you can look online and get an emulator and get every Atari game there ever was for free.
Oh no,
Back
it's
then, they were 50
insane.
or $60 each.
Oh God, I know.
Yeah,
Phew. It's insane what you can get nowadays.
yeah, yep. Oh, man. Well, Dale, have you got anything that you want to plug on this here show?
Sure, yeah. I've got some projects that are finishing completion, and I've got some that are coming up. There's a show, a supernatural show that I recently finished up filming, and they still got to finish up some more because of the COVID-19. But it's called Hunting Jessica. It's the production company is Ramon Martin Film Productions, and basically the synopsis is this girl that lives in a small town in Oklahoma, and she works for a local bar and also and has connections with another company, and she basically just thinks it's just a regular town, and basically there's nothing going on. And she soon finds out that her world is a lot bigger than what she thought. I mean, she finds out about these supernatural elements, these creatures that just kind of turn her world upside down. And what I tell everybody else is that the fans of True Blood, I think, will really get a kick out of this because it's kind of got some of the same aspects that True Blood does, but just different in its own aspect. So it there's no official place that it's going to be streamed to yet. That's still in the works. But there are talks of being on DVD, and I believe they're talking about the release date of that being November of this year. So just you can find out information about Hunting Jessica on IMDb, on Facebook, pretty much a lot of the social media outlets, and it's picking up popularity in Europe and even here in America. So that project is very promising.
Hmm.
And then I recently was cast in a fan film. It's not going to film until after all this is done. It's called Freddy versus Jason Dreamscape. And it's a fan film. It's basically takes place when Freddy and Jason are still in hell, trapped in hell. And then
Oh, they're in
through
Atlanta.
some interact. What's that?
Oh, they're in Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Um, but basically through some accident or whatever that ends up bringing Jason back to life, which Freddy always has some hand in that. But it's centered around this lead. I believe it's this younger, like teenage kid or whatever, and basically has to go in the dream world and stuff. So it's going to have not the original cast from like the Nightmare series or that, but the character names. There's going to be some familiar names in there besides Freddy and Jason that people get a kick out of. That's looking at getting completed over the summer, and sometime this fall it should come out. I think there are talks about it like limited release on like some DVDs that people can buy online, and I'm sure it'll be on seen somewhere. So just keep an eye out for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is in August when it starts filming, I'm going to be a lead in a religious film, and it's called Faith Restored. And what it is, it's a film about this minister that through some tragic events that he witnesses in his life, he loses his faith in God and everything else. And he goes through this some type of accident that he magically is transported back to the very first day Easter around that time to leading up to and including the crucifixion. And so through that process, he ends up hopefully finding his faith again. And so it's a very moving, dramatic a film that I think that people of any walk of life will get something out of it. So
I'm kind of looking forward to that. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and so like for the Freddy versus Jason, the Faith Restored, Honey and Jessica, people can look on. I think Freddy versus Jason doesn't have an IMDb page, but you can find any information on that on Facebook. I'm pretty sure you can just look it up online. But yeah, like Faith Restored and Honey and Jessica are on IMDb, and they, like I said, the Faith Restored should hopefully have a release. I don't know if they're going to do it this year or next year, but people can just keep an eye out for that. And then there's some other projects that I've been talked with people about, but nothing is set in stone. So kind of keeping hush hush about that. But there is a studio that I love to shout out about, and it's called Angry Troll Studios. And
I just like the name.
Max. Yeah, it's a really amazing name. The main people that pretty much are in charge of it, his name is Matt Clark and his wife Tesha Clark, and they have some projects that are lined up that are going to be amazing. That they've already have some name actors attached to a couple of them. In fact, you can find their studio name and their names on IMDb, and you can actually look up on some of their projects coming up. One of them for sure has some really big name actors attached to them. And so what they have going on and what they're going to be doing in the future is mind-blowing and amazing. And plus they're very down-to-earth, great people too. So definitely check them out on IMDb, Angry Troll Studios.
I actually just pulled that up.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sitting there. I've got my tablet beside the laptop.
The one that they've got some really big name tags, The Legend of Johnny Jones, I believe. And yeah, you can see on there right there some of the names that are attached to that.
Yeah, well, yes, definitely got some good names on there.
Yes.
Oh, they got one of my favorite names on there. I'm not going to say it on the air, but oh man.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they're yeah, like I said, they've done some projects already, but the stuff they have lined up is mind blowing. And I've talked with Matt as well, and nothing is set in stone, but he's talked with me about being in some of his projects down the road too. So, and it's just, and all that too is because of just networking and also for just showing support, which that's all I pretty much do. I just love to show my support to people, and it's amazing with showing some kindness. I mean, sometimes, who you meet and who you talk with and what's going on. So you never know.
Yeah. Now, is this the actor Matt Clark that's doing this?
Is what?
Is this the actor Matt Clark that's doing this, or a different Matt Clark?
No, this is he's an actor, an actor as well, but he's done several different things behind the scenes, and
Okay.
it's I think he goes by Matt Ghost Clark, I think is what he goes on IMDb under there. But yeah, it's under Angry Troll Studios. But yeah, he's acted in some stuff, and he's done a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like you can look at his IMDb list on some of the stuff like he did. He did some behind the scenes stuff like on Super Mario Brothers and quite a few in Iron Man 3 and a few other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, he's man's got some connections in the industry. He's done some amazing stuff, and I'm definitely proud to call him a friend.
Outstanding. Yeah, I'm, getting a lot of people on here that I have not, never thought that I would talk to or never, even thought about. And I'm making some really good friends doing this.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because, I don't have, 5 million listeners to every podcast. I'm still growing and just getting there.
Right.
And each person I talk to, I'm getting more opportunities to talk to other people, and it's amazing, And I'm just loving
really
this so
is.
much because everybody is, so helpful with this.
Oh, exactly. It is. It's amazing. Even me starting a new podcast, the different people that I've got to talk to and talk to people all over like I did a podcast about a month ago that I did with a guy over in Canada.
Yeah.
And then did one with a guy on the East Coast, another person on the West Coast, and now I'm doing one with you down in Alabama, and another person in Florida. It's just, and then what's funny is I'm going to be doing one here real soon. So I grew up in Evansville, Indiana,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm doing a podcast with a guy that's in my hometown.
Nice.
And then another person that's up in the northern part of the state of Indiana. And it's like, you never know who you're going, it's just funny, small world that who you're going to talk to sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm finding my niche in this, and if you go back and listen to them, I've got interviews with people I know and other comics, and I've got a bunch of them that are little 10, 15-minute solo things, and I've got one where I actually read the Three Little Pigs as Herbert the Pervert from Family Guy. That's right, I read the Three Little Pigs, and threw his own little spin on it, and that was a podcast.
My God, that was awesome. That was perfect, man.
Oh, I do a boatload of voices. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. That's one thing I've started to kind of, I haven't really got professional at it yet. Like I could do some voices, but I haven't gotten quite to that level yet. But I love it. That was really good, man. That was really funny.
I'll tell you, I'm waiting to find a propane person who'll sponsor this podcast, and I believe if I could sell propane and propane accessories for them, that'd be a win.
Oh my God, that was great. That was a good Hank Hill, man.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I do so many different voices, and all of them aren't just imitations. A lot of them are just mine that I come up with or take. Like one of my favorite accents is when Eddie Murphy does the old Jewish guy in Coming to America.
Yeah.
And I just kind of took that one and ran with it. My favorite line, I watched it yesterday, as a matter of fact, was when the king walks into the barber shop and he reaches up and feels what's obviously a dead lion on this king.
Right.
And he says, "This is beautiful. What is that, velvet?" I love that line, and I love that accent. It's so
great.
much fun to watch. Somebody that can do 6 characters in their own movie. It's like, man,
that's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing how he did that. And that, and then the Nutty Professor movies, it just blows my mind just how he does that.
Yeah, and I never realized how hard filming can be. I've got video stuff down here in my little place. I call it Use What You Got Studios because I basically use what I had.
Right.
And on my YouTube channel, I've got a bunch of different characters that I do. But around Christmas time, I actually did a 30-minute Christmas special.
Wow.
Using these characters, and it was fun to do, but man, it was a booger. I actually called it a very Murray Christmas because one of my guys is Murray the Clown.
Oh, wow.
And it's got some characters on it that are pretty good, but yeah, the YouTube is Brad's Comedy. All one word, no apostrophe. If you want to check them out, they're hilarious.
I'll definitely check that out later today. Absolutely, man. 'Cause I love I love showing my support for everybody from all walks of life, from the biggest celebrity to the somebody starting out. Yeah, I'll absolutely definitely check that out for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot. It was a lot of fun doing them, and I'm once we get through this a little bit more, I'm going to start doing some more of them because I mean I learned each one of them are a part of me. It like
Yeah.
Murray the Clown. I'm actually a certified clown.
Wow.
I used to teach fire safety to kids as a clown before
That's awesome.
everybody got terrified of him. And the voice for Murray and the name was actually my first clown. Murray's voice is this. And it's a great voice, but the bad thing is it lends itself to cussing really bad. Like you don't want to be in front of 1,000 kids telling them stop, drop, and roll, you little bastards. So I had to change that, but the character that he is on the videos, it's perfect for him. He is just the most horrible clown on the videos. It's like that. He's kind of like the public access cable kids show, but horrible.
I gotta watch it now. I gotta watch it.
Each episode involves a fifth of bourbon getting chugged.
Oh God!
And a cigar. But yeah, he is. Oh, Murray's awesome.
Oh my God! Okay, yeah, I gotta check this out now because that's just cracking me up just listening to you do the voice now. But I gotta watch it now.
And the thing is, in the videos, he's actually doing balloons like real clown balloons and doing magic and.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he is the man.
Oh, sweet man! I can't wait to check him out.
What a cool deal. Yeah. Oh man, well Dale, I've had a ball talking with you today, man. A lot of good stuff. You know, you're more than welcome back on here anytime you want to be. I mean, keep this number. I'll keep yours, and we'll stay with it.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely, and as soon as this quarantine's up, lifted up, man. You know, a lot of projects that were put on hold, I'll be keeping busy, and especially now networking and doing all these podcasts. I'm hoping that definitely there's people out there listening that who knows, they end up might discovering both of us and putting us on some big stuff, man. You never know. So we'll definitely stay in touch and have some more fun and hoot and hollering on over the phone and stuff for sure, man.
Outstanding, brother. Well, I've had a great time. You stay safe through all this. Keep working, and we're gonna get there.
Absolutely, sir. You do the same, and it was a pleasure, man. Very much so.
I have had a great time. Appreciate it a bunch.